will be getting the max according to this. I don't know if the Fever was willing to pay her that. It looked like this was definitely a money thing for her. Wish her nothing but the best, but let me know y'all thoughts about this down below. Happened moments ago. Let's see. Latest. Will definitely win the championship, blah, blah, blah.
Alanna Smith has made her decision, and Indiana is not the destination. The news broke quickly and caught a lot of people off guard. The Fever fanbase had rallied hard behind the idea of bringing her in, and whether the front office genuinely made a push for her remains an open question, one that may never get a clean answer. What is confirmed? Alessa Filippo reported on both Instagram and Twitter that Smith has agreed to a 3-year max contract with the Dallas Wings. She was the 2025 Co-Defensive Player of the Year and is widely regarded as one of the most versatile young forwards in the league.
Give me a quick second, guys. I'm working in a lab, trying to see where's this coming from. Alanna Simone Smith, if you please go to Minnesota. Gabby Williams is a receiver, or Satu Sabali. Let's see. Alanna Smith and Mo Billings would be good. Ooh, this is a good thing. Who just made this? Somebody's at Amber Cox and put this up.
For Dallas, landing her is a significant win. The deal was negotiated through Sammy W. at Sports International. The structure of the agreement points to a max-level payout over multiple years, which raises the obvious question of whether Indiana was ever in a position or willing to match that kind of money. Based on how this shook out, the dollar figure appears to have been the determining factor. A fan-built salary cap breakdown for the 2026 Indiana Fever roster had been circulating on X just before the news dropped, and it's worth looking at now with fresh eyes.
Amber Cox and put this up. Who is this? I'll follow you. This is a pretty neat thing that you did here. So somebody on X just put this up. Guys, look and see if some news came out about Alanna Smith. So I'm guessing this is the 2026 Fever salary cap. Kelsey Mitchell, 1.4. Aaliyah Boston, 1.1. Alanna Smith, 800.
The projected numbers had Kelsey Mitchell at $1.4 million, Aaliyah Boston at $1.1 million, Alanna Smith slotted at $800K, Monique Billings at $700K, Sophie Cunningham at $600K, Caitlin Clark at $500K, Lexi Hull at $400K, Ariel McDonald at $300K, Odyssey Sims at $300K, Damaris Dantas at $300K, KK Robinson at $200K, and a rookie slot at $280K. The spreadsheet drew a lot of positive attention. The numbers are workable. A few of the individual figures might run slightly generous for certain players, but taken as a whole, the blueprint looks solid and executable. Several players on the list were noted to be operating on one-year deals, which keeps the roster flexible heading into the following season.
Alanna Smith, 800. Billings, Monique Billings, 7. Sophie Cunningham, 6. Caitlin, 5. Lexi, 4. Ari McDonald, 3. Odyssey Sims, 3. Dancers, 3. KK Timpson, 2. Rookie, 280. Total college salary cap. Hey, this ain't bad. This ain't bad. I can't even lie. This is doable. What y'all think about this? What y'all think about this right here?
The core issue, though, has never been what the roster should look like. Anyone paying attention can sketch that out. The real question is whether the front office actually moves on what the situation calls for. That gap between a good-looking spreadsheet and actual decisions being made is where things tend to fall apart, and it's the piece that continues to draw the most skepticism.
What y'all think about this? What y'all think about this right here? A good amount of players are taking one of your deals too. Next year could be fun. Hey, this is a pretty cool little thing here. This is a cool little spreadsheet. JTL, call up top and tell them shake a leg. Shake a leg, huh? Hey, I like this. I think some of their numbers are kind of high.
One comment that resurfaced pushed the idea of trading Kelsey Mitchell in exchange for multiple pieces. That option doesn't exist. Mitchell holds a Supermax designation, which makes her untradeable. She's locked in as the highest paid player on the roster, and that's final.
High for certain players, but this is doable. See, this is all fun and all seeing stuff like this. But you want to know what our issue is? Our issue is, will the front office do this? See, we all know what we need. But will they do this? See, that's the only thing. See, that's the question here. This is a pretty cool spreadsheet.
The conversation around her future needs to stop there and redirect toward everything else. Who else gets signed, at what price, and how the supporting cast gets assembled around the core. The 24 to 72-hour window ahead was flagged as the stretch that would define the direction of the whole offseason. A separate fan-constructed full roster also made the rounds. Credited to CDS Uncensored, the lineup included Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Maisha Hines-Allen, Sophie Cunningham, Dana Evans, Kayla Evans, Ariel Powers, Alanna Smith, Azura Stevens, Brianna Turner, Damiris Dantas, with Monique Billings and Gabby Williams rounding things out alongside a draft edition.
This is a pretty cool spreadsheet here. But will they do it? You know? Will they do it? Somebody said, I've said Alanna Smith and Mo Billings for a long time now. Is there any chance at all Mitchell signs and then gets traded for multiple players? No. Guys, Kelsey Mitchell cannot be traded. It's over with. So those of you guys who want Kelsey Mitchell to be traded, sorry for you. She hella stuck. She's here. She's the high.
The reaction was warm. Even if the Smith slot now needs to be rethought given what just happened, fan responses ranged from frustrated to resigned. Multiple people had been pushing for Smith and Billings as a package move for a while now, and this development stings for that camp. One notable take suggested that Mitchell could accept her full payout this year and then voluntarily restructure at a lower number next season to preserve cap room and protect the team's long-term flexibility, a move that would benefit the core group across the board.
Sorry for you. She hella stuck. She's here. She's the highest player on the team. It's over with. She got her bag. You cannot trade a core player or a Supermax player. We're done. Kelsey Mitchell here. That's why we got to move on to the next phase. And the next phase is building the roster, paying out players, stuff like this that's here on the screen, seeing who's finna get what, seeing who's about to get what. That's why the next 24 to 72 hours is very, very important.
Whether that conversation is happening behind the scenes is anyone's guess, but the logic behind it is hard to argue with. The Indiana Fever missed out on the stretch 4 position this offseason, though calling it a true failure might be too strong, with Naz Hillman being the most affordable option at around $800K, and players like Azura Stevens and Alanna Smith carrying price tags of $1 million and $1.2 million respectively. These were never realistic targets given the roster budget. The stretch 4 slot remains unfilled through the top of the market, but that does not mean the solution is gone.
So, Mo Billings is probably going to start at the 4. It is what it is. Dantas is probably going to be there. And for anyone who's saying Dantas, no. Dantas is not good enough. And for me, there is one really, really big player left. And I don't think people are realizing just how good this player is. So, last year, the Chicago Sky was a shit show. And one of the
right now, Mobley is likely sliding into the starting 4 role by default. There is no power forward currently available who presents a clear case for taking that spot away from her. Damiris Dantas remains in the conversation too, and while some have doubts about what she brings, she does serve a specific purpose, particularly against lineups that go big. Against double big front courts, Dantas makes sense.
And one of the players that was on that team, Rebecca Allen. She was not great, albeit there were a couple of games she was unbelievable. She was the Sky's best player through 10 games, maybe through 6 games. But, like, if you look at her game log last year, like, she started off the year okay. It just got worse. So, she had 7, 11, 11, got injured. Did she get injured in this game? I can't remember what happened in this game.
Against standard lineups, a stretch option is the smarter play. That brings the conversation to Rebecca Allen, a player who seems to be flying under the radar in discussions about what Indiana still needs. Last season with Chicago was a rough one for her. The Sky were a disorganized team from top to bottom, and her numbers reflected that environment more than her actual ability.
Did she get injured in this game? I can't remember what happened in this game. But 7, 11, 11, 13, 7, 8. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. But like the rest of her season, then she had a random 27-point game and a win against the Wings. And she struggled the rest of the season. This is a player who has been an important player for a lot of good teams. And more importantly, based on how the Fever recruit on a team coached by Stephanie White. She was a starter at the 4 for a Connecticut Sun team.
She started the year reasonably well, picked up an injury somewhere along the way, had a standout 2 7-point performance against the Wings, and then faded. Looking at that season log in isolation does not tell the full story of who this player actually is. Go back further and the picture changes considerably. At Phoenix, she averaged 7.4 points per game, shooting 35% from 3, coming off the bench for around 20 minutes a night, and she was ahead of Sophie Cunningham in the starting rotation.
Starter at the 4 for a Connecticut Sun team who were the 3rd seed. And again, this is a backup stretch 4, playing 20-something minutes a night. She averaged 7.4 points on 35% from 3 for Phoenix the year before, starting over Sophie Cunningham, and started for Connecticut with Ty Harris, with DeWanna Bonner, with Alyssa Thomas. Started for that Connecticut team and shot 35% from 3. Beck Allen is a stretch 4. That is what she is. She is a passable defender.
At Connecticut, she started for a team that finished as the 3rd seed, playing alongside Tyasha Harris, DeWanna Bonner, and Alyssa Thomas. That is a legitimate supporting role on a legitimate contender. She is listed anywhere from 6'2 to 6'3, and that height is accurate. She is a real-sized 4 who can stretch the floor, move well enough to switch, and handle minutes at the 3 if a matchup demands it.
But she is a stretch 4. She can run a bit. She can play the 3 if needed. She's 6'2", 6'3"-ish. She's not small. Again, I've stood courtside just to get a gauge of these players. She's a decent chunk taller than me. Like, she stood relatively beside me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's definitely taller than me. Like, I'm 6'1", so the 6'2" height isn't a lie. I think she's been listed as 6'3" before. I would say 6'3" basketball height, maybe 6'2" without shoes is probably accurate for.
In Europe this past season with Fenerbahce, Allen averaged 7.2 points per game and shot 45% from 3. In a game against Valencia where she logged 37 minutes, she finished with 12 points on 8 shot attempts, 7 of them from beyond the arc. Mo Billings was also on that Fenerbahce roster and put up 20 and 19 inches that same game. 2 players who will likely share the floor in Indiana next season were already operating together in Europe and producing at a high level.
She's been listed as 6'3" before. I would say 6'3" basketball height, maybe 6'2" without shoes is probably accurate for her. And you don't need like if you're struggling size-wise for a stretch 4 and they just have too much size, that's when you put on a Dantas. That's when you can put on Dantas. And that's fine. You can run Dantas to 4 against double bigs. And if teams aren't running double bigs, you can play Beck Allen. There's no issue with that. And I thought Beck Allen was really good this year when I watched her play for Fener. So she had, for Fenerbahce, she averaged 7.2 points.
There has been noise around using draft capital on players like Justine Pissot or Marta Suarez for this role. Pissot scored 11.1 points at Vanderbilt and can shoot threes, but she had 2 points and essentially disappeared against Notre Dame in the Sweet 16. Suarez shot the ball poorly for most of her college career before a strong senior year at TCU. One good season after years of inconsistency is not a strong foundation. Dooligan does not project as a shooter at all.
Had, for Fenerbahce, she averaged 7.2 points per game, and I actually genuinely thought she was good. I thought she played well. Like, I watched her play against Valencia in this game. She had 12. It literally felt like every shot she was taking was going to go in. And she shot 8 shots, 7 of them were threes. She shot 45% from the free throw line in Europe this season, from the 3-point line in Europe this season, for a really good Fenerbahce team. A really, really good Fener team. And she played 37 minutes against Valencia. And if you look at this Fener team, Like it's
These are developmental bets, and Stephanie White does not have a track record of converting raw athletes into reliable three-point threats. That is simply not how she builds a rotation. Rebecca Allen is going to be affordable. A down season with a chaotic organization will push her market value close to what glue guy veterans like Carly Samuelson have signed for in recent years.
37 minutes against Valencia, and if you look at this Fener team, like it's ironically enough, she played with Mo Billings. Mo Billings played in this game. I was at it. Mo Billings had 20. Ileana Rupert had 19, who's fantastic, and then Beck Allen at 12. Like they were the three best players on this team. And you're looking at it, and it's like Beck Allen is a very good bench player that the Fever can get. Because everybody's talking about, oh, the Fever should try to sign should try to draft Justine Pissot. They should use their 10th pick on her. Like, what?
The cost is low, and the ceiling is a proven starter-level contributor on a contending team. Maisha Hines-Allen has also come up in discussions, and she brings a physical presence and enforcer mentality that few players in the league match. She has also had seasons where her shooting held up. Either would be a reasonable addition, but Allen specifically fits the profile of what Indiana is building. A floor spacer with size and championship-level experience who already has chemistry with one of the team's core pieces. The move makes sense on multiple levels.